Hi everyone, I'm teacher Shirley, and in today's video, I'm going to go through Malacca trial paper for addmaths paper 1. Okay, let's look at the questions that may come out. So for bahagian A, there will be 12 questions. So it consists of 3 marks, 5 marks, 6 marks, 7 marks, yeah? So the most here is 7 marks. Okay, and the total for bahagian A is 64 marks. Whereas for bahagian B, consists of 3 questions. So students were only required to choose 2 out of 3 questions to do. Okay, so each one is 8 marks. So there will be 16 marks for bahagian B. So question from bahagian A are like short structured answers, means very short answers. Okay, compared to bahagian B, it will be slightly longer working. That's why it's only 2 questions out of 3 questions. Okay, students always ask me, what are the hot topics that always come out in paper 1? So the hot topics, the first one will be functions. Okay, functions always come out as question number 1. So students will need to know how to do step by step, how to find inverse function and composite function. Okay, and also from the diagram, yeah, how to inverse it and how to get to the other function. Yeah, that one will be in question number 1. Always question number 1. Okay, but not 100%. Yeah. Okay, what are other hot topics? So another hot topic will be quadratic functions or equations. Always come out as question 2 or question 3, okay, based on the analysis. Okay, what are others? Like coordinate geometry. Okay, coordinate geometry, you need to know how to find equation of the straight line. You need to know how to find the gradient, how to form the equation of a straight line, and what is the formula. So remember, y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So this equation always come out in exam, okay? And students are required to know how to do it, okay? So memorize the formulas, okay? So besides that, we have indices always come out, okay? Indices, surds, logarithm, okay? How to prove logarithm, how to find the value of x, so you need to know how, okay? You need to memorize the laws of logarithms. Okay, besides that, you need to know systems of equations. Okay, they give you 3 equations and you find x, y, z or a, b, c. Okay, any 3 variables. Yeah. Okay, besides that, another hot topic will be progressions. So for progressions, students need to know how to find arithmetic progression and geometric progression. Memorize all the formulas so that when you see the question, oh, this is on progression, you have more confidence to answer the questions. Okay, because the formula already inside your head. Instead of referring to the formula sheet and then there's so many formulas for you to find, then you get panic when you couldn't find it, right? Okay, so another hot topic will be statistics. Okay, statistics, yeah. Actually, there's one more, which is probability. So probability also students need to know, because occasionally they will ask you on this question. They will test you on this topic, okay? Even though it's less frequent compared to the algebra and also other geometry topics. But if you want to score A+, you must master probability as well, okay? Okay, so now let's look at bahagian A, question number 1. Let's look at question number 1. So this question is based on functions. So for functions, students need to know how to do inverse functions and composite functions. So this topic is a super hot topic for SPM, especially for paper 1. Okay, let's look at question number 1. Diagram 1 shows 2 functions, h and g. So this is hx and gx that map from set q to set p and set q to set r. So given that hx is equals to 2x plus 1 over 4 and gx is 2x minus 3. Okay, let's read the question at the bottom. So find the function that maps set p to set q, set p to set q. So you need to take note that hx is from q to p. So if they want you to find from p to q, therefore you have to find the inverse hx. Okay? And then the next one, B, find the composite function that maps from P to R. Okay, this one I'm going to show you later. So let's solve for A first, okay? So which means that we're going to find the inverse function for hx. So let y to be equals to 2x plus 1 over 4. So our target here is to make x as the subject of the equation, okay? So the 4, I move it over to the left-hand side, become 4y equals to 2x plus 1. And then we move the positive 1 to the left, become 4y minus 1 equals to 2x. And then to find x, we move the 2 over. So become 4y minus 1 over 2 equals to x. So now we have x equals to 4y minus 1 over 2. So now we're going to find, we already found our inverse hx, okay? Then this y we're going to change to in terms of x. So 4x minus 1 over 2. Okay, so that will be our answer for A. Okay, let's try to do B. Okay, conversive function that maps set P to set R. So for this, what they mean is set G times with inverse hx. Okay, so just now we already found our inverse hx. So we're going to substitute into here. Okay, so this will be 4x minus 1 over 2, then equals. Okay, so now you look at the gx given here in the question. So gx is 2x minus 3. So when this is x, this will be in terms of x. Okay? When this is 4x minus 1 over 2, therefore this will be, the x will be 4x minus 1 over 2 as well. Okay, so now let's work it out. So it will be 2 times 4x minus 1 over 2 minus 3. So let's see whether we can cancel or not. We can cancel the 2 and the 2 here. Okay, so let's solve this. 4x minus 1 minus 3. So our answer will be 4x minus 4. Then we get our answer. Okay, let's look at the marks. Okay, total marks for this question is 3 marks. Okay, so where do we get our 3 marks? So for A, this is only 1 mark, which is the final answer, inverse function. Okay, whereas for B, this is the question, this is the answer for B. Okay, where do we get the 2 marks? The remaining 2 marks we can get from here. Okay, and also the final answer. So make sure you don't miss out any steps. Okay, let's look at question number 2. So this question is based on the topic quadratic equations. So for quadratic equations, students will need to know how to find the roots of equation. So let's read the question. So express the quadratic equation 3 bracket 3x plus 4 equals to x minus 3, x minus 5 minus x into general form, which is a x squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So if alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, state the value of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So alpha plus beta is the SOR, sum of roots. Okay, this is the sum of roots. And then alpha beta is the product of roots, POR. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have to expand this and change it to general form first. Okay, after we have changed it to general form, and then we will get 3 terms on the left equals to 0. Then after that, we will know, okay, which is our SOR and which is our POR, okay? So I'm going to do it at the bottom. Okay, so for A, so write down the question first. So 3 bracket 3x plus 4 equals to 3, okay, x minus 3, x minus 5, then minus x, yeah? So 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 3x is 9x plus 12 equals to, so expand this, so x squared minus 8x plus 15 minus x. And then we're going to move everything to one side. So since our x squared is on the right side, so everything move to the right first, okay? So here will be 0 equals to, okay, bring down the x squared, and then 9x on the left, we move it to the right, become minus 9x. Then on the right hand side, negative 8x minus x, and then we have 15 and then minus 12. So 0 equals to x squared minus, so this will be negative 9 minus 8 is negative 17. And then 17 minus 1 is negative 18x. Okay, then this is 15 minus 12 is 3. So positive 3. Okay. So you can move it back because they want your answer to be in general form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, so we compare with the equation which is x squared minus SOR x plus POR equals to 0, right? So now our roots is alpha plus beta, which is the sum of roots, x plus 4, which is alpha beta, equals to 0. Okay, so we can compare this. So 18 is the value of alpha plus beta, and 3 is the value for alpha beta. Okay, so write again, therefore alpha plus beta is equals to 18, and alpha beta is equals to 3. Okay, so for this question, it carries 3 marks. Okay, so it's 3 marks. So where do we get our 3 marks? So our general equation here carries 1 mark, and then alpha plus beta is 18 equals to 18 is 1 mark, and alpha beta is equals to 3, and this is 1 mark. Okay, that's how we get our 3 marks. Okay, now let's look at B. Given that x plus h whole thing square minus j equals to 0 is a quadratic equation where h is 4 and j is 64. So determine the roots of the equation. So to determine the roots of the equation, we're going to find what is the value of b squared minus 4ac, which is the determinant. Okay, so I'm going to do it at the bottom here for b. Yeah. Okay, so for b, so x plus h whole thing square minus j equals to 0. Okay, so they give us the value of h is 4 and j is 64. So this is given in the question. Okay, so we're going to substitute into the equation here. So we have x plus h is 4 whole thing square minus j is 64 equals to 0. So from here, we're going to expand the bracket. So we get x squared plus, so 2 times 4 times x is 8x, plus 16, 4 squared is 16, minus 64 equals to 0. Okay? So we get x squared plus 8x, and then 16 minus 64 is negative 48 equals to 0. So from here, I'm going to find what is the value of the determinant, which is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so this value, if it's positive, therefore it has 2 different roots. If it's equal to 0, means it has 1 root only, which is equal root. And if it's less than 0, means that it has no roots. Okay, so we're going to find what is the value of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so from here, our a is 1, okay, our b is 8, and our c is negative 48. Okay, this is a, this is b, and this is c. Okay, so we're going to substitute inside b squared minus 4ac. So b is 8 squared minus 4ac. Okay, so this is 64, then negative 4 times negative 48. Okay, let's calculate. So 48 times 4 is positive 192. So plus 192, and see what we'll get. Okay, plus them together. So we get positive 256, which means this is more than 0. Okay, if the determinant b squared minus 4ac is more than 0, it means that it has 2 different roots. Okay, so they ask you to determine the roots of the equation. So for here, 2 different roots. Okay, but they want you to find what are the roots of the equation. Okay, let's repeat the question here. So for the Malay version, they ask you to find jenis punca, which is the type of roots of the equation. But for the English version, they're asking for roots of the equation, which means that you have to factorize into 2 brackets. Okay, so from here, you can actually factorize into 2 brackets. Okay, so let's factorize this and see what is the answer. Okay, so when we factorize, so the first term is x squared, so it'll be x, and then the third term is negative 48, which is 4 and 12. So 4, 12, and then minus, okay? And here will be plus. Yeah, so we'll get our roots will be x equals to 4 and -12. Okay, so these are the roots of the equation. Okay, the roots are 4 and -12. Okay, so here this question is a bit different because the Malay version and the English version, it's different questions. Okay, Jenis punca and the roots of the equation. So anyways, okay, I have already shown both. Yeah, and where do we get the 2 marks? Okay, so let's see, where do we get the 2 marks for this question? Okay, so here, okay, when you have gotten your general form here, this is actually 1 mark. Okay, 1 mark. Yeah. So then you have your roots of the equation. So here will be another 1 mark. Okay, so you get 2 marks already lah. Yeah, for this, if they're asking for the roots. Yeah, if they ask for the Malay version, which is the punca, for punca, okay, here, general equation, here you get 1 mark. Here you get 1 mark, okay, which is the general equation, this one, 1 mark. And then this one will be 1 mark. Okay, so that's how you get the 2 marks for this question. Let's look at question number 3. So this question is based on the topic indices and logarithm. So this is also a very hot topic. So for this, you need to know the laws of indices and the laws of logarithms. So both laws you need to memorize by heart, okay? So that when you do this question, you'll be more confident and you know what's the next step. Okay, so simplify the following algebraic expressions. So this is on indices, okay? So I'll write down the question over here on the right, okay? Easy for you to see. So 7 power 2n times 7 power m, then over 7 power n. Okay, so let's revise back a bit of law of indices. Okay, so if it's a power m times a power n, if the base is the same, then we can add up the power, become a power m plus n. Okay, so what if it's divide? So if it's divide a power m divided by a power n, okay, which is also a power m divided by a power n. So if it's the same base, we minus the power, okay? So when we want to combine under one base, we minus the power. So we're going to use these 2 laws of indices to solve this question, okay? So equals to, so this is all base 7. So all the same base, then we can combine all under one base, which is base 7. So when it's times, we add up the power. Okay, when it's divide, we minus the power. Okay, so become 7 power. So 2n minus n is n. Okay, then plus m. But because usually, our marking scheme, it will be in alphabetical order. So just make sure that we arrange it. Okay, arrange the power according to alphabetical order, which is m 7 power m plus n. Okay, so this is the answer. And this question carries 2 marks. Okay, where do we get the 2 marks? Yeah, so the 2 marks, 1 mark is here. Okay, and another one is the final answer. Okay, so they want to test you to see whether you still remember the law of indices or not, and how to simplify it to get the final answer. Let's look at question number B, yeah, 3B. So this is testing you on law of logarithms, okay? So still remember? Okay, let's read the question first. So given log 2b is equals to x, log 2c equals to y, express log 4 base 4 8b over c in terms of x and y. Okay, so firstly, when you see this type of question, you have to look at the base first. Okay, given is base 2 and base 2, but they ask you to express this is base 4. Okay, which means that we have to change this base 4 to become base 2. Okay, so remember how to change the base according to the laws of logarithm. Okay, let's recap a bit. Okay, so let's say if it's log a b, so you want to change the base a to become base, let's say base c. Okay, so it's equals to, so log base c over log base c. Okay, so you see here a and b is on top of a, right? So which means that b on top and then a at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to apply this concept, this law on this question. Okay, on this question. Yeah, so I'm going to write down the working at the bottom here. Okay, write down here. Okay, so for question B, so the question is log base 4 8b over c, okay, equals. Okay, so for this, there's another law that you also need to know. That is, okay, if it's divide, okay, if it's time first, okay, let's say it's times, yeah? Let's say log a x, okay, xy, for example. So if it's times x times y, so when you want to split them up, it becomes log ax plus log ay. Okay, so this is actually the first law of logarithm. Okay, how about if it's divide, let's say x over y? Okay, so when you want to split it up, so you have log ax minus log ay, okay? Which means that if it's times, you want to split it into 2, you change to plus, log ax plus log ay. So if it's divide x over y, so when you want to split it into 2 different logs, so it'll be log ax minus log ay. Okay, can you remember? Okay, so now we're going to apply this law of logarithms to this question. Okay, so we're going to change. Okay, don't change first. We're going to split it up first. Okay, I'm going to split it up. So this is 8 times b over c, right? Okay, 8b over c means 8 times b over c. So still log base 4. Okay, 8 plus log base 4 b minus log base 4 c. Okay, so now only you change to base 2. Okay, so you put log base 2, and this is log base 2. So 8 is 2 power 3. Okay, and then the bottom 4 is 2 power 2. Okay, then plus this one also change to log base 2 over log base 2. Okay, so b here, and then 4 is 2 squared, and minus log 2. So here will be c, and here is 2 squared. Okay, so equals. So another law is, okay, when you bring down the power, so it becomes 3 log 2. Log 2 is actually equals to 1, okay, 1. So it will be 3, and then over, the bottom one is 2, bring it down. What I mean is bring it down over here. It's also bring it down over here, okay? And log 2 is equals to 1, okay? So remember that. So the bottom will be 2, so plus log 2b. Okay, in the question log 2b is equals to x, right? So substitute x inside here, then over 2. Then minus log 2c is equals to y. So minus y over 2. Okay, so you can actually combine this under the same denominator, okay, which is 3 plus x minus y, then whole thing over 2. Okay, and this is the final answer. Yeah, and this question carries 3 marks. So where do we get the 3 marks? Okay, so here the first step is 1 mark. And then this one, the first step is to split it up into 3 different logs. And then the second step is you're going to change the base. So they're testing you to change the base, whether you know how to change the base or not. So this is 1 mark. And your final answer is 1 mark. Okay, so that's how you get the 3 marks.